She's been on the world stage for decades, yet no one really knows her. She rarely speaks, never explains herself, and when she does, it's measured, calculated, just enough to keep the world guessing. She didn't come from money, she wasn't raised in politics, and unlike any first lady before her, she posed nude for Playboy. To some, she's an enigma. To others, a reluctant first lady. And just like her husband, she's anything but traditional. But the truth? Melania Trump may be the most fascinating and most misunderstood first lady in modern history. From a tiny communist town in Slovenia to the runways of Milan, from Trump Tower to the White House, not once but twice. This is the real story of Melania Trump, and today we're diving into Melania, a memoir to uncover the woman behind the mystery. Let's get into it. Most first ladies come from political or aristocratic families. Melania? She was born Melania Trump in a Soviet-era apartment block in Slovenia, part of Communist Yugoslavia. Her father, Viktor Trump, was a car salesman, but not just any car salesman. He had deep connections to the Communist Party, and that meant, unlike most Soviet families, the Trumps had access to Western luxuries. Her mother, Amalia, worked in fashion. She designed clothes for a children's clothing factory, and this is key, because from a young age, Melania was surrounded by fabric, elegance, and an obsession with presentation. She grew up watching her mother create, sketching designs, picking fabrics, tailoring outfits to perfection. By age 5, Melania was already walking in fashion shows for the factory's brand. A child model before she even knew what modeling was. She was tall, disciplined, and quiet. A watcher, not a talker. Even as a teenager, she was obsessed with self-discipline. She didn't party, she didn't drink, she didn't smoke. While her friends were obsessing over boys, Melania was obsessing over control, over her appearance, her reputation, her future. And that future came knocking sooner than she expected. At 16, she was spotted by Stane Jurko, Slovenia's top fashion photographer. He was leaving a fashion show when he saw a young Melania sitting on a fence, watching the models. Something about her caught his eye, her posture, her bone structure, the way she didn't fidget or seek attention. So he walked up to her and asked, "Have you ever modeled before?" Melania shook her head. "Would you like to?" She nodded. 2 weeks later, she was in his studio, posing for her first ever professional shoot. And the moment he developed the film, he knew. She wasn't just another model, she was different. By 18, she was walking the runways of Milan and Paris. By 26, she was in New York City, chasing the American dream. But Melania wasn't like the other models. While Cindy Crawford and Claudia Schiffer were superstars, Melania was a ghost, never chasing the spotlight, never making a scene. While Naomi Campbell and Kate Moss were tabloid fixtures stumbling out of clubs at 4 a.m., Melania was home, asleep, preparing for the next day's shoot. She didn't just want fame, she wanted power. She didn't just want money, she wanted security. And while the other models were busy dating rock stars, movie directors, and billionaires, Melania was studying them, learning how real power worked. Unlike her peers, she had no interest in partying, drama, or fleeting romances. Melania wasn't chasing a man, she was waiting for the right one to chase her. And in 1998, that man showed up. It was a Manhattan fashion party, and Donald Trump had just walked in. He was fresh off a separation from Marla Maples, and as usual, he was surrounded by models. Then he saw her, 28-year-old Melania Trump. She was poised, detached, completely unfazed by the chaos around her. Trump walked up and, like the billionaire showman he is, asked for her number. She said no. Instead, she said,
"You give me yours."
A power move Trump didn't expect, and one that drove him crazy. Melania didn't call him for weeks, and when she finally did, she played it slow, controlled, distant, never giving too much, always keeping him chasing. And that was the moment Trump knew. She wasn't just another girlfriend. She was something else. By 2004, they were engaged. By 2005, they were married at a $2.5 million Mar-a-Lago wedding. The guest list? Bill and Hillary Clinton. Anna Wintour, New York's elite. By 2006, their son Barron was born. And by 2016, Melania was quietly becoming one of the most powerful women in America. But she did it her way. Not by being loud, but by being silent. Then there was the jacket. June 2018. The country was in chaos. Trump's administration was under fire for its family separation policy at the US-Mexico border. Reporters were demanding answers. Protesters were marching in the streets. And then, out of nowhere, Melania boarded a plane wearing a $39 Zara jacket with 6 words scrawled across the back. "I really don't care. Do you?" The media exploded. Who was she talking to? Was this a message to Trump? A message to the press? A message to the American people? Her team scrambled. "It's just a jacket. There's no hidden meaning." But when reporters asked Melania directly, she smirked and said,
"It was for the media."
That's the game. Melania doesn't explain herself. She doesn't defend herself. She doesn't correct the record. She lets the world go crazy and watches from a distance. Then there was 2024. Melania barely appeared on the campaign trail. She skipped the rallies, the fundraisers, the media interviews, and just when the world assumed she was out, she reappeared. A single statement, 6 words. My husband has my full support. No speech, no rally, just 6 words. Then, July 2024, the assassination attempt. Trump was on stage in Pennsylvania when gunshots rang out. A bullet grazed his ear. The world was in shock. The media was in overdrive. And Melania, she waited. Then she released a simple statement. I am grateful to the brave members of the Secret Service and law enforcement for their quick action. We must remain united in the face of violence. That was it. But later she said something that changed everything.
There is definitely more to this story, and we need to uncover the truth.
What did she mean? Was she implying a conspiracy? Did she believe Trump's enemies were behind the attack? Melania never clarified. She let the rumors swirl. And once again, she controlled the conversation without saying a word. Melania Trump has spent her entire life defying expectations. She wasn't supposed to make it out of Communist Slovenia. She wasn't supposed to outlast Donald Trump's other wives. And she sure as hell wasn't supposed to be First Lady twice, and yet here she is. And here's the thing. Every time people think they have her figured out, she proves them wrong. She was supposed to be arm candy, but she maneuvered her way into the halls of power like a chessboard. She was supposed to be a passive First Lady, but she made headlines on her own terms. She was supposed to disappear after 2020, but now she's back in the White House. And this time, she's not just standing beside Trump. She's building something of her own. A new East Wing team, a best-selling memoir, a cryptocurrency, a documentary. This isn't just a First Lady returning to Washington. This is a woman staking her claim to power. So the real question isn't where she's been. It's what she's planning. Because if history has taught us anything, Melania Trump is always prepared to capitalize on an opportunity. Now, we want to hear from you. Is Melania a reluctant First Lady, or has she been playing the long game all along? Let us know what you think in the comments. And if you love deep dives into the world's most fascinating figures, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we've got plenty more coming your way. Thanks for watching Summify, and we'll see you in the next one.